and we're going.
All right. Hi, everybody. It is Tuesday, July 28th, I believe. It is our last Founding Advocate call of July, our very first month in business, which is super exciting. I can't believe we're already here. Feels like a lifetime ago, and also just yesterday that we launched with our small and mighty group of you, and you continue to grow, and we're just so thrilled and so grateful to have all of you. For those of you who don't know me, because I know we do have a lot of new advocates now, welcome. My name is Evie DeAngelis. I'm your Vice President of Sales and Marketing. And this is Amanda Robertson in the pink.
Hi.
She is my partner in crime and your Senior Director of Operations and Training. So we do this call every week on Tuesdays at 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Mountain. No, 10 a.m. Mountain Time. I'm trying to get all the time zones down. This is like my new challenge to myself. We do this every single week. It's a chance for us all to connect with each other, hear a little bit about what's happening in the business, give some business updates, recognize you for your efforts, and also just see each other's faces and connect and hear about what's going on. And most importantly, hear from you about what it is that you're doing to grow your business with you and Grace. So we know that not all of you can always make the call, and that's totally fine. We like to be as flexible as possible. So some of you may be listening to the recording and the playback, and that's great too. Love to just use our Yammer network to share what we thought of the call, what we think of each other's activities, ask each other questions, and really just leverage that to connect your group with each other, because when you think about it, we will never be this small ever again, which is kind of special. Actually, it's very special and it's really exciting. Really love to just kind of take a moment, take a step back, and be grateful for the fact that like this moment in time where we are as a business will never happen again, and you guys are part of it. You're an integral part of setting the foundation and helping us grow and build. So for those of you who are new, I know those of you who have been around since day one have probably heard this before, but I want to just level set a little bit because you'll hear me say the word beta a lot. So for those of you who are new, would love to share with you what beta means. So, and please feel free to also lean on your fellow advocates who have been here from the beginning or who have been here for a couple of weeks to understand more about this. But just from a high level, beta typically means that we are in a test phase. And so while we are absolutely open for business, we are leveraging this time this summer with you, this group, to really tell us how this should work, what's working, what's not, what it is that you need more of, what it is that perhaps you need less of, is really our opportunity to calibrate the business and to leverage your feedback to set the foundation for this business, which means that your fingerprints, you have the opportunity to have your fingerprints all over everything it is that we do to set this foundation for advocates and customers to come for years and years and years into the future. And given that you are this special group, you will likely continue to be this feedback group for us into the future. And so we will be asking you on a regular basis. You've probably seen, if you've been around for a couple of weeks, we've started some surveys. We've asked a couple of questions on Yammer, but we will be asking you to share your feedback on the experience. Everything from how it's working for your customers, what they're saying to you, what feedback they're providing with you, to shipping. How's that working? I know in the very beginning, we had a few boxes that arrived not the way that we wanted them to, and you guys were very quick to call it out, and we absolutely loved that, and we're able to fix it quickly. Of course, feedback on our products. We're doing some perception studies with you all, which is incredibly helpful. But also, anything else that you might want to share about what you love about the product, what you feel maybe we could add to the product line, what your customers are loving about the product and what they're sharing with you. Any of that and all of that is incredibly helpful. Same goes for your personal advocate website and any other touch point in the business as well. This is really what we need, not just to help you be successful, but again, to set the stage for really successful growth. And the reason that we decided to launch in beta was so that we could be incredibly thoughtful and deliberate about how we grow. I know Amanda, myself, our founders, Sarah and Ben, have all been parts of businesses where we've seen growth happen incredibly quickly at one point or another. Now that can be really, really wonderful. It's a sugar-coated problem, but also it means that sometimes you're not being as careful or as thoughtful about how you build, and you're just always running to catch up. And so we want to kind of stick with a low and slow for the summer. We've been potentially gating certain aspects of the business. We have been kind of dipping our toe in slowly to certain areas and then running hard at others. And that's kind of how we calibrate on a regular basis. So that's what beta is all about for those of you who are new. And we are working toward a late fall launch. And what that means is we will no longer consider ourselves to be in beta at that point in time, but we will still continue to leverage you and your opinions and your experiences, because they're absolutely invaluable to us. And one of the tenets that we have built this brand on is a continual feedback loop, that we never want to feel like it's the Hue and Grace team and our advocates. We are one community and we are nothing without you guys. And it's really important that we continue to keep it that way for the lifetime of our business. We expect to go on and on and on for years and years and years and years. The company is named after Ben and Sarah's two kids. And so, this is a legacy business and we're building it as such. So with that, I want to recognize two of our advocates this week. Every week, we like to share some great success stories that came out of our advocate community. So last week, we provided a challenge that anybody who sells 3 strengthening sets would receive 1 free protecting body oil. So congratulations, Emma Hackett. You had quite the week. Lots of great sales, new advocates. You are just going hog wild, and we love to see it so much. So congratulations. And Tara Renzi had our top individual website visits. So you can actually track your visits in your advocate portal, and it's a great way to track your exposure. So if you're somebody who's sending out emails, maybe you're sending texts, maybe you're posting on social media, you can see kind of how the fruits of your labor are playing out, and you can see who you want to follow up with. We also had so many new advocates place their very first sale last week, have their very first customer order. So congratulations to each and every one of you. I know that there's nothing more exciting than that very first one, because you might spend some time thinking, oh my gosh, is this working? Am I doing the right thing? But, and we'll talk about this a little later, really consistency and persistence is key, and confidence is really key. And that's, again, why it's really important to leverage each other, because we also have an ability as a community to lift each other up, support each other, and do great things. So congratulations to anybody and everybody who connected with a new potential customer last week, who made a sale, who brought on a new advocate, who shared something that they love about Hue and Grace with someone they hadn't spoken before, or any activity. We're really proud of you, and we're so excited to see you moving the needle forward. So Amanda, let's go into some business updates, shall we?
Yep, okay. All right, so I have a couple of business updates for you guys in no particular order. The first one is around PV versus QV versus PVC and CV and DV and all of those different definitions. I think that for those of you who have been in an industry like this, some of this might be a little familiar. If this is your very first time, this might be kind of a new language. I mean, think about any time you started a new job or joined a new club, you sort of have to learn the language. So I've had a few questions on this, and I'll answer the ones that I had the most frequently here today. But the good news is that our full comp plan guide is going to be updated actually right after this call. I was going to do it right before the call, and then had another call that ran long. So I'll update it into your Knowledge Center as soon as we're done here today. But the biggest question I get is around your personal volume and your qualifying volume. So we all know that as an advocate, you can purchase products at a 25% discount, right? So it's 25% less than our retail price. The good news is you earn your personal and your qualifying volume based on the retail price. So even though you're paying the lower amount, you're getting sort of credit for that full retail value. No matter what, if you're placing an order or if you have an elite member who's placing an order, that's all going to count towards your personal volume. So your personal volume is the orders that you place for yourself, for your own personal consumption. Like I have all of my products right here, just buy this stuff for myself, but also all of your customer orders. So anytime you have a customer that places an order on your personal website, that goes toward your personal volume. Your qualifying volume, and again, I'm just going to point out the acronym. There's full technical definitions that are all on the document you guys can read. But your qualifying volume is kind of what I talked about. That's where you get that full retail, number, the qualifying volume, even though you're paying a little bit less for the product. So your qualifying volume is going to be like the $95 to $95, $60, $15, and so forth. And then finally, PV and a little tiny c. So personal volume capped, what this means is that your personal volume is capped at 250. So for example, if you are buying product for yourself, so it's your own personal purchases, it's this stuff that you're having shipped to you for personal consumption, you can buy as much as you want. I mean, please continue to place all of your orders. But as far as meeting the structure requirements to level up to different titles, so advocate, ambassador, influencer, only 250 of your own personal purchases will count toward the structure requirement. Now your customer orders, that all counts, everything is good, but only your own personal purchases is capped at 250. So for example, if you placed an order for $1,000, hypothetically speaking, $1,000 for yourself and you had all kinds of product, you would still get the 25% commission on that, or the discount on it. It would count for your downline volume. It counts for all of the different buckets, but only 250 of that will actually count for the structural piece. So again, it's outlined in the document. Please let me know if you have additional questions on it. I just wanted to make sure, because I had a couple of people that were curious about their level up, knowing that you guys are making sales and you're sharing product with people, even people that are close to you, and sometimes it wasn't triggering. So I just wanted to make sure that made sense as you guys are moving forward and looking to level up. So again, look for that document shortly after the call today, and then of course let me know if you have questions. Okay, next random and no particular order business update is around our elite member checkout flow. So a couple of things. We are continuing to see an increase in elite members every single day. Again, I know that we mentioned this and it feels like it's still July 1st, but it's always just refreshing and checking. And every morning, Ben, Sarah, Evie, and I get on a call first thing to start our day, and it's they're taking a look and they see what you guys are doing. So we're seeing so many more elite members, which is wonderful. I have had some questions on the flow, right? So if you go to click on elite member, in reality, there are a couple of more clicks than we probably need to have. So we actually have identified that. We have our developers working on sort of a more streamlined flow that will reduce the number of clicks that it takes to become an elite member, which is wonderful. So that is in progress. We're hoping to have that sooner rather than later, but just so you know, we are working on the flow. The other question I get is when you are going through the elite member flow, you have to select your product, right? So right now, if you go to enroll as an elite member and say you're going to put the body oil on auto delivery, because we all know that we're using it every day, twice a day. I've seen the perception study. And so if you want to put that on auto delivery, we have three options. You can do it in a 30-day interval, 45-day interval, or a 60-day interval. Now, in reality, a really simple way would be to just have a drop-down box, right? And you select one and then you move forward. We're working on it, so that will be coming up, a little bit of an easier way. But right now, your customer is going to see a whole list of inventory with pictures, and it's going to look like duplicate products. So you will see 4 options for body oil. One is going to be just your regular retail. Then you're going to see a body oil with a little picture that says like 30-day with an arrow and a circle, and then 45 and 60. So your customer technically has to select the inventory item that has the appropriate 30, 45, or 60-day auto delivery picture on it. So most people are figuring it out. Again, I know it's not ideal and that will be changing, but I just wanted to make sure that made sense. when your customers see so many options that pop up when they go to enroll as an elite member. All right, so the next question I get is, okay, Amanda, that's great, but why would my customer even want to enroll as an elite member when they can just plug in the coupon code and get all of the elite member pricing? Really good question. And the purpose of that is, again, Evie talked last week about some, acquiring new customers, and we'll touch on it a little bit today. That your elite members are the ones that are going to enjoy those benefits all year long. So enrolling now is a wonderful idea. It gets everybody onto their auto delivery so they're never missing product. And it starts to promote that behavior that we're looking for from our loyal customers. Now, in reality, you're right. Any retail customer could plug in the coupon code and get the exact same price as a retail customer, or excuse me, as an elite member. But we're looking at this as kind of an intro. We wanted to give you guys, as our founding advocates, something that was a little bit, like an intro, something that was kind of juicy. So the coupon codes are not going to last forever. Those are actually just temporary. So very soon, those coupon codes will not be available, and your customers will be able to purchase at regular retail price or enroll as an elite member and enjoy all of those benefits. So you can get the same price right now either way, but there's still so many benefits to enrolling as an elite member. So you're on that auto delivery and you don't have to sign up later once those coupon codes are no longer available. So that was kind of our logic behind offering the coupon codes for you as our initial founding advocates, but those will be temporary, whereas elite member savings will be throughout the year and next year. Okay, next one I have is around our Fast Start bonus. So a couple of things here, and then I'm actually going to share my screen with a new document that I'm going to post. So our Fast Start bonus, first things first, we are going to rename the program. So Fast Start is great. A lot of companies have Fast Start, kind of boring. So we're going to rename it the Advocate Boost Program. And this is something that's really exciting. I'm going to go through the details. Do you have a comment, Evie?
Yeah, I do. I just wanted to say, one of the things that we've talked to some of you about in, early on is that, it's important to us that, we use real words that, are not necessarily associated with other direct selling companies that are our own, but also that make sense. And there are certain words that make sense across the board, and there are some that I think a lot of us, if we've been in this channel before, we associate it with that. So when we were thinking about that, we were thinking about what is the purpose of this program and why, is it important to get engaged with it early on? And we thought, this is really about getting you a boost. Of course, it's, getting off to a fast start, but that feels a little bit antiquated to us. And we really want you to be able to explain the benefit to your new advocates as you bring them in. And so this is about getting them a boost from the beginning, and also giving them boost in their earnings and in their dollars. So that's why we decided to change the name. And we welcome any feedback around names of anything. We may or may not be able to change some of them, or we may or may not opt to. But again, this is another area where we would love your feedback. We would love your thoughts, and help us make sense of things so they can be easier for you as you build and grow.
So if I accidentally say Fast Start on the next page, we're just changing this in my mind too. So Fast Start bonus is now Advocate Boost, and I will also update the comp plan on Grid today. So those documents will all be updated in the Knowledge Center. Okay, so one update is currently this month, the Fast Start bonuses have been paying out in your weekly commission. In full transparency, not how it was designed. This really actually is a monthly bonus along with your level and generation bonuses. But I just had it tagged, just one little tag was not correct for our first month. So this month, everybody is getting their Fast Start bonuses every week, but starting August, that will go back to its original plan, which is a monthly bonus program. So if you saw it this month, great for it's a boost right now, but it will go into monthly starting in August. Also, just on that note, if you, I've actually paid out hundreds of dollars to individual advocates solely on the Advocate Boost program alone in the last couple of weeks. So every week I'm checking and I'm auditing those commissions. So it's a real deal as far as some of the details and how how you can earn. So with that, I want to go through the actual, the specifics of the program. I've had a few questions. It's on the comp plan grid, but I put together a full document. So let me share that with you. And again, I'm going to upload this as soon as our call is over today. So Advocate Boost, share. Do you guys see Advocate Boost or my business update still? You see Advocate Boost, Debbie?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Okay, so this is the document I put together. We've got some language in here. We really know that this is a great way to get you up to speed quickly and easily and truly maximize your commission, which again is what I'm seeing every single week. So as you guys are starting to acquire new customers and you're selling and you're sharing and you're enrolling elite members, there are two ways you can actually boost your commission during your boost period. And this is all paid on your personal sales. So the first one is your selling bonus. So anytime you make a sale to a customer, they go onto your personal website, you're going to get a 15% boost in your commission. So right now, we know that the baseline is 25%. Anything during your boost period, which I'll scroll down and show you in a moment, you'll get an automatic 15%. So you're just going to make 40% commission right out of the gate. In addition, you are going to make a boost on any of the personal sales of the advocates that you enroll. So anybody that you personally enroll, an advocate on your first level, any of their personal sales, not their whole team, but their personal sales, you will make an extra 10% on the commissionable sales volume of anybody on your first line. So those of you that already have recruits, I've seen both your selling and enrolling bonuses really starting to add up. So your boost bonus is paid in additional to your regular sales commission, just like on the grid. And here's your period. So it's actually your first 3 full months is your boost period. The good news is that because there's really no easy way to draw a line in the sand, you get your join month, whatever month you join, as kind of a freebie or a gravy or whatever we want to call it. And then it starts with your next following full 3 months. So really, everybody on this call has enrolled in July. Your boost period starts really August 1st, right? So you have August, September, October. But you get any of the days in July that you enrolled. So if you enrolled on July 1, all of July is just kind of extra. If you enrolled on July 10th, the rest of July is all extra. So you can see a couple of these examples. If you enrolled on the 2nd of the month, February, you get the 2nd to the 28th, and then March, April, and May. If you enrolled on the 20th of the month, like in September, you'd have 10 more days, September 20th to 30th, and then October, November, December. So everybody in this call is currently in their boost period. And again, I've seen a lot of boosts happening every week that we're selling or that we're paying out those commissions. And then again, I don't have to go through all of this. I will post it, but it just kind of pencils out what I said. So with the selling bonus, you earn an additional 15% on your own personal purchases as well as your customers. And then also with your enrolling, you will get 10% on the commissionable volume of your level 1 advocates that you enroll. So we've got some FAQs, who's eligible. Everybody's eligible when you get paid. It will be monthly starting in August. Is there a maximum amount? No, you guys can go crazy. You can earn as much as you can. You can check your bonuses under commissions when we post those for the month. And then can you extend your boost period? The answer is no. You do get your 3 full months plus the month that you join. So good news, I wanted to put that together. And again, I will post it in the advocate portal as soon as we're done. And then of course, if you have any questions, you can always let me know on the boost program. All right, so I'm gonna flip back. This is always so intense with technology when everybody's watching.
It's a little nerve-wracking, but you did a great job.
Yeah, here we go. I'm going to share.
I think we've like gotten so used to technical difficulties.
I know, I'm feeling good about it though.
When it actually works, it's shocking.
Oh, this is what I wanted to share, and now here we go. All right, so I will move back over to you, Abby.
Yep, and Amanda, while I'm doing that, do you mind taking a look? I just saw we have some chats in the chat box.
I will.
Great. So we want to focus this week on how to find new customers, because we know that finding new customers is where it all begins. You might find your most loyal customer who's really going to set your business on fire. And a lot of times your your most loyal customer is actually a really solid, warm lead to eventually becoming an advocate in your group. And so it's really important that you always are building your customer pipeline. And also it's important to reframe your thinking and understand that some of them are going to be super easy to find. And you want to think like maybe your immediate friends and family, maybe somebody who this story really resonates, who has had a hard time with finding toxin-free, chemical-free products. Those people might be more easy. But some people you might have to crack into and work a little bit harder for. Maybe you don't have a personal connection. Maybe they're a little bit of a skeptic. Maybe they just don't want to hear it, but eventually their curiosity will be piqued. And it doesn't really matter what group they fall in or if they're somewhere in between, because finding new customers to shop your Hue and Grace store is really how you actually become the true definition of an advocate, how you share this mission and how you share the products, and you all ultimately make earnings, but more importantly, you're helping people live cleaner, healthier lives. So these are just a couple tips on how to do that. So first and foremost, we like to say become a product of the product. And what does that mean? It means that we've discussed this before. We've discussed, last week, the brain science and trust and how it's baked into our minds, from long ago, and how we are able to kind of frame our decisions based on what the people we know and trust do. And so, of course, being able to become a product of the product yourself will frame that perfectly. You have to use and love what you're selling, right? I don't know if any of you have ever tried to sell something that you don't believe in. I have. It's incredibly hard. And selling something that you believe in is much more easy because it's authentic, and authenticity is key. And having a personal story is so key. It's worth so much more than just sharing a stock image from a product from a website. And the number one rule of selling truly is that people are more likely to buy and like what they trust. And, we all kind of talked about that one salesperson that we've all met, maybe more than one, unfortunately, that we've all met, who just put that icky taste in our mouth over what a salesperson is. But when you consider yourself a sharer, and you consider yourself a sharer of something that you love and it's authentic, it makes all the difference in the world. The second tip is to be persistent in being consistent. And the reason we didn't just end this at be persistent is because sometimes persistence can be framed as annoying, but that's not our recommendation here. Our recommendation is being persistent with yourself and ensuring that you maintain consistency, which is incredibly important. So it doesn't mean continue to poke somebody on the shoulder, either literally or figuratively, until they give in because they just want you to stop. That's not what being persistent means. It means understanding that for every one person who might say, yeah, I want to try it, who might say, yeah, I want to hear more, there will probably be 9 people who don't want to hear it, who don't respond to your text message or your email or your post. And that's okay. They say that the average person, the average consumer needs 7 to 10 different touch points before they even remember that they've heard about a product. So your consistency is continuing to be the authentic advocate for the products that you love, and maintaining a regular rhythm, maintaining a regular post, maintaining a regular point of conversation. Because yes, you will get a lot of no's, we all know that, but the no's absolutely will bring you to yes. It's just about creating a habit and a pattern for yourself in something that feels really good and authentic. The other one is follow up. You will hear, I'm not interested, or you may hear no response. And it's about reading the audience, understanding the room, and also having confidence. Developing a system to stay in touch with people, understanding who they are, showing an interest in their life will also really help you follow up, because again, that's more authentic. You're almost becoming a product of their product when you make a connection, right? You're understanding who they are. You're giving yourself a reason to go back and to connect. And that's incredibly important. And I think now more than ever in this point in history in our world, we all could connect a little bit more. And we all want to feel like that connection is truly authentic. So this gives you an even better way to be able to stay connected with people, follow up with them, ask how they're doing. And, it's really, really important that when you do that, you identify who it is that you're talking to. You're not just casting the wide net for the purpose of casting the wide net, but you're being really thoughtful about how and who you're connecting to. Do you know who that person is, even if you've just met them? Are there a few key things that they've told you about themselves, or that you've asked questions about, that you can remember, that maybe you can write down? And, how can you benefit them? How can this help them? Providing a benefit to someone, showing them that you can help them better their lives, will also be a great way to continue to follow up, because you can say, hey, I remember this about you, and I remember our conversation, it really stuck with me, and I just wanted to check in and see how you're doing. A really great way to follow up there. And then lastly, connect with your fellow advocates. I mentioned this at the top of the call, but you all provide each other a truly invaluable resource. And that's why going forward, and we started last week, we will continue to feature at least one of you on every week's call, because it's important that you don't just hear from me and from Amanda on what's happening with the business, but that you hear from each other. And that Yammer network is incredibly important. It's a great way for you to continue to touch base with each other, to ask questions of each other. You obviously are always welcome to ask questions of us, but ask each other what you're doing, or say, hey, this is what happened to me this week. This worked, this didn't. What do you all think? Not only should we be using you as a feedback loop, and we are, but really you should lean on your community, share with each other, ask questions of each other, because you will truly learn from each other. And I know we learn from you every single day. So with that, I want to talk a little bit about the strengthening set. So last week, we gave you a challenge on the strengthening set. And the reason that we did is that this set is truly the keystone to our selling system. This set will give your customers each of our current early access products. As you know, we have 3 products in the line right now. We're on early access, but it gives them all 3 at a very great value. So it's got the Restoring Face Serum, the Protecting Body Oil, and the Purifying Cleansing Bar. And that's $170 value that you can offer to your new customers at the exclusive Elite member price of $139.50. And that means all customers can get this price right now during beta, just for early access. When we move out of this phase, then, as Amanda mentioned earlier, we will have this pricing for Elite members only, and no promotion for general customers. So now's the time to give your customers the opportunity to try all 3 products in the current line at this great price. We've got our fantastic one-pager in the Hugh & Grace Knowledge Center in your resource library, where you can check out your earnings goals. So if you still are at a point, which is totally fair and makes sense, because we've had a lot of information coming at you, but if you're still at a point where you're like, I want to make a couple $100, but I don't really know how many customers that equates to. I'm not quite sure how many strengthening sets I would need to sell. We've got a one-pager back there that we've developed that shows you, based on approximate average order size, how many customers you might need to sell strengthening sets to achieve earnings goals. And it's set up in different levels of earnings goals. So whether it's something low and you just want a little bit of extra cash every month, or it's something a little bit higher and you want some meaningful income, we've built it all the way up for you. So you can say, okay, I can set my goal for this month. I need 3 customers so I can make this much in commission this month. And I'm gonna make sure that I hit that goal, and here's how I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna make a list of 20 people. I'm gonna reach out to all of them. I'm going to share with them why I love the product. I'm gonna ask them questions about their life and share how this product could be great for them. And then also talk to them about this wonderful savings of over $30. So speaking of goals, our advocate who we're featuring on today's call has already hit a lot of her goals, and she is on the road to her next achievement. And she actually just promoted to influencer advocate. So congratulations. Tara Renzi, you have, as I mentioned earlier, you have the most individual website views of all of our advocates so far. And so I'd love to hear about how you are taking those views, connecting with customers, how you've been driving traffic to your personal advocate site, and how you will be transitioning those into sales. I know you had a couple really big orders this week. You may still be on mute.
Yay, can you hear me?
There you are, yeah.
Well, thank you so much. I'm excited to speak today about all this. And it's something that I'm really passionate about because I've been creating my own brand for myself in the speaking and training industry for a long time. And one of the things that, well, first off, you touched on so many things earlier today, but ultimately your job through social media, which is where we are driving everything right now. You know, the face-to-face opportunities, the events, all that kind of stuff has been canceled. And first and foremost, Evie said it best first, is that you have to create trust. And then the second thing that you really want to create is curiosity, with people are like, okay, what is she up to? And so that is where you should be using Instagram stories. You should be, you know, sharing different things, but really at this 80-20 rule. You know, people aren't following you because they want to be sold all the time. People don't like to be sold, but they actually do love to buy, and they love to buy from people that they trust. So a couple of things that you guys can do that I've done that really, really works well is first and foremost, create a VIP group on Facebook. And the reason that you want to create a VIP group on Facebook is because it really is going to give you the opportunity to build a community of like-minded people who are interested in whatever it is that you are. So if you want, you're welcome to join my community. It's free. You can follow me. This is my Instagram hashtag. You can find me on Instagram and I'll send you the link to join the community. But Brooke Runenbaum, who's also doing Hue and Grace and I, decided to start this collective community, and we called it Her, a Curious Collective. And what we do in this community is we share all kinds of products that are clean, non-toxic, hormone-free, lifestyle, food, some great little shopping finds, really going into it with the notion of like, hey, you know, we aren't perfect, but we're trying to make better choices for our families and for ourselves. And so what we've been doing is on a daily basis, just sharing a lot of different products, a lot of different cooking ideas, fashion, all this stuff. So then when we started sharing about Hue and Grace, people were really curious because they were like, okay, I've loved what she's been sharing before. This just isn't a forum for her to sell her products and make money. But what we've done is we've already built this community of trust by saying, hey, we'll only share what we know. We only share what we love. We only share what works for us. So this week, what we did is we put a little promotion up that said, hey, we'd love for you guys to be able to try the soap. You know, it's a great place to start. And so if you want, we'll just do a bulk order. And if you're local, we'll deliver the soaps to you, or you can come by and pick them up, or we can work out the shipping. And we had so many people who were so curious about switching to a bar of soap. And we actually started the post by saying, hey, are you a body wash or soap girl, a bar of soap girl? And it was so interesting because it was actually the community that was selling the bars of soap for us, of like, hey, I switched over to bars of soap 2 years ago when I started reading about how horrible body washes are. And then people be like, oh my God, I want to try that. And I know that early on, it's a little more legwork, but we have to, one, earn trust. And ultimately what we need are stories, and we need testimonials, and we need people that our community trusts to say, oh my gosh, I bought this. It worked. I loved it. My kids loved it. And we're already starting to see stories come in for someone who bought the serum and said, I usually get a huge cystic acne on my face, and I put it on last night, and when I woke up, it wasn't as bad. I posted a picture of my face, which gets a little red after cleansing, and the serum toned down the redness and the under eyes on my under eye circles fast. So, you know, in this beta phase, I always say that, like, I know, like, you have to hustle a little harder, and you have to get a little more creative and think outside the box, because it is a new company. And we have to be willing to kind of put our money where our mouth is and get people using and trying. So I really encourage you to start a VIP page to create that curiosity. And then even on your Instagram and your Instagram stories, I like to just use the 80-20 rule. I only talk 20% of the time about how I make a living, and how, you know, that I'm a speaker, that I do training, that I'm an advocate for Hue and Grace. And really having that good story of why you're doing it. You know, people don't need your entire backstory. They don't care about some big long story about how you got to where you're at, but they do want to know a quick blurb on why you decided to align with Hugh and Grace. And all of those things will create curiosity, which will create conversations. And then those conversations usually create prospects and customers. So that's just my 10 cents on whatever it is that you want to create your VIP page about, but have a place where you're not just sharing Hugh and Grace products, but really an overall lifestyle that people, like-minded people, want to be part of.
I love that so much. And I think, yeah, I know I follow Tara. And I think all of you, you know, if you have social, if you're on social, you should follow each other. But again, this is a great opportunity to see what everyone else is doing. And if you don't, leverage Yammer, like I said, again, you know, to ask each other questions. But I do really appreciate, because I think, you know, we've all seen that person who's just pushing so hard. And what I love that Tara does is she really is committed to the 80-20 rule. And, you know, again, it's not even 20% Hugh and Grace, it's all of her ventures and everything that she's doing. So it makes this seem even more authentic and peppered in, you know, as it should be. And there's a lot about her life, and a lot about selling, again, is connecting with someone, seeing that they're a real person. So we get to see her meals, her family, her boys' baseball, which is a lot. We were talking about that this morning. It's just like so amazing. And it's also nice to see that, you know, we're all busy. We all have lives. We all have stuff going on. It makes people seem more human. And, you know, I really appreciate that you've come up with a strategy to, you know, to break into the line for people, and just to have them, you know, be introduced to one product and start there, because, you know, when they fall in love with one, it would be very hard for them to resist the rest. And also, you know, I think what you said, and I know Carla Greengrass and I had talked about this as well, and I've had this conversation with so many of you, but what you said about we can't be perfect. We cannot eradicate all of the toxins and all of the endocrine disrupting chemicals from our lives. But we can make small changes that will have a big impact. And I think that that's so important, because it helps people feel empowered about their decisions. You know, we don't ever want to guilt anybody into, you know, saying that, oh yeah, I'll use that because I feel guilty. We want them to feel strong and empowered that they're making a good choice, but it doesn't mean that they can't also use something else. And another thing that I think Tara does a really lovely job of is that she's really authentic about all of the products that she uses. And I think that, you know, I have worked at companies in the past where we have been encouraged to only use what the company produces. And I think we all know, especially as women, but as human beings, that's not normal. You know, we like to have this product from this place, and this product from this place, and this product from this place. And what we've done at Hugh and Grace is that we have, you know, tried to make very conscious choices about the products that we're producing, because we know that these are the products that, you know, get into the skin and the body the most, right? Your skin is susceptible to EDCs when it's wet. And so that's why the bar soap is important. And, you know, the body oil really helps to lock in that moisture while your skin is still supple and susceptible to these things. And that's one of the things that we are putting our product development pipeline focus through. And that helps you have those conversations as well. So Tara, all great strategies. Thank you so much for sharing. Would love it.
I have to say, like, I can't wait until we have tons of products.
Yes.
We can replace everything I'm using. But I think that's another great thing right now with a 3-product launch, is it really gives us the opportunity to talk about these 3 products. And it's not, you know, the holy grail for everything in your life, but just a great way to introduce people to the brand. And as we know, we fall in love with brands and we keep buying more and more of their stuff. And I have to tell you that every single person who's using Hugh and Grace is totally falling in love, which is really excited. So
wonderful. Would love it if you would share some of this stuff in a Yammer post as well, so everybody can see it too.
Okay, perfect.
Cool. Thanks so much, Tara.
All right, so before we finalized here, you know, last week we had a lot of fun with our Strengthening Set Challenge. So we decided to do another call to action. We're probably not going to do this every single week. We're not going to have calls every week for the rest of our lives. But your excitement in talking to your customers, and really it's all about your discovery. So often we'll get messages around, oh my gosh, I talked to 3 people and everything was the same and they bought the product. And then I talked to this one person and I learned something new, or they asked me a new question and it sparked something else in my mind. So your journey with discovery has been actually really, really fun, I think, for all of us here. So this week, our call to action is 2 customers. So 2 customer orders, you'll get 1 raffle entry, and we're going to raffle off a Restoring Face Serum. So our Restoring Face Serum is $95. It's a great product. And again, very much like last week, you can use it as a customer acquisition tool. Use it to start to replace. We are coming up on our 30-day mark. So we actually are already seeing customer reorders on, number 1, the bars of soap. Those, we know that they last approximately 20 days, and we're seeing some of that feedback on our perception surveys. So we are starting to see some customer reorders already. So 2 customer orders, it could be anything. They can reorder soap, they can get a strengthening set, they can get strengthening plus. I don't care what it is. For every 2 customer orders, you'll get 1 raffle entry, and we will actually just raffle that off next Tuesday on our call. So anything that's out there, unlimited, and we'd love to see how many raffle entries we can get. So good challenge for the week, something to focus on, right? Go ahead, Evie, I saw you unmute.
Oh no, I was just nodding, and I know I have to speak at some point, so I just unmuted early because I like to be prepared. Go ahead.
All right, perfect. So next week, we'll see you guys back August 4th, same time, same place. And again, I really love the live participation, and we know that not everybody can do it. So if you have advocates on your in your group who can't join, shoot the link out to them, remind them of the replays or the Knowledge Center, listen to us, while you're getting ready, multitask. A lot of these pieces of information, some of it's some training, some of it's announcements, and some of it's that transparency. So we want you guys as our founding advocates to just feel really good about, where we are in the business, and that how you're participating and really how you fit in. So next week, our focus, now here's the thing, the call is on the 4th. I know the month starts on the 1st, and we will get into a little bit more of a monthly, but it was really important for us to talk to you guys every single week through this beta period. So it's a new month, it's a new focus. We're going to have some exciting things. We'll have a few announcements. We'll have our first full month of recognition, which is really, really exciting. We'll have our month-end results, and we'll have some new tips. So one of the things I think is important to share is around, and actually Evie quickly mentioned it, now that we're all learning about Hue and Grace, and I know that you've all taken the training, but there are some things to know. Things like, your body absorbs more when it's wet, and just some of those little nuggets around how you can really talk to customers about why Hue and Grace products can make a difference. So we'll have some of those tips. We'll have a couple of featured presenters, all kinds of good stuff jam-packed for next week. So in the meantime, I do just want to make sure, again, if you have people in your group, making sure they're staying active and participating, which is getting involved, making sure they're taking the training, talk to people, talk to each other. I know some of you guys have never met in person, and you see each other on Zoom, and you're not in the same group, but you've already started texting and strategizing. It's really the best way to learn even more about what's working and what's not. So keep that in mind. Use Yammer. If you have something, a quick tip, just pop it out there, just post it. It's helpful to everybody here as well as those of us on the Hue and Grace team.
Awesome. Well, we love having this call with you. We love seeing your faces of those of you who join, and we're grateful to everybody who listens to the playback. I think I'm sure a lot of you have seen there's been an Instagram challenge going around where people have been challenging other women to post a black and white picture of themselves as a form of empowerment. And I am all for empowerment and love to lift each other up. But I think empowerment comes in the form of empowering each other. And I think that that's something that we can do for each other, and that all of you can do for each other. And I think that's the beauty of starting a community. So I was really inspired by the notion of empowerment doesn't have to come in a social media challenge. Empowerment doesn't have to come necessarily in some kind of a post. It can come in the connection that we make with each other. And I know that I'm inspired by everything that I see all of you doing. And so I would love to see us all using Yammer to lift each other up. And so it starts with sharing the things that we're doing and asking each other questions. And then we can say, okay, I loved this tip from Tara Renzi. I loved this tip from Tracy. I love this tip from Emma. You guys are all on my screen right now, so I'm naming you. You know, anybody else, from Kelly, from LaFay, from Carla. There are so many people in this community that I think we can all learn so much from. And one of the things that we like to do as the home office team is we like to look at inspiration every week. And so one of us every week, it's our turn to share something outside of the business that inspired us. And so I would like to leave it to you to just think about that a little bit. And, you know, what inspires you? What makes you feel empowered? How can you empower someone else? And how does your Hue and Grace business allow you to do that? So kind of wanted to leave you on a little bit of that note, because I know that that's been sitting with me this week, and it's something that makes me feel good and makes me feel really connected to people, even when we're all so far apart. And so we might be peppering a little bit of those into Yammer as well, but encourage you to think about it and do the same. We can't wait to see who achieves this week's challenge, and thank you guys so much for participating. And we'll see you on Yammer, and we'll talk to you next Tuesday. Take care, guys.